Alright, what's going on YouTube? It is round of 8 of Red Bull Wololo 5 qualifiers best of 7 between Jordan and SongSong. We'll talk about the draft more in between the games, but for now let's jump into the games straight away. The games are both or all gonna be live over here. We'll have Jordan on the right side as Mayans in red, and we are gonna have SongSong as yellow Britons. So Mayans probably the better civilization over here, as we got SongSong poking around with a little bit with that scout. The thing is that we had to fast forward a couple of moments so that we catch up, but now we are live with speed. SongSong, he mostly chose very open maps for his home maps, so he probably wants to play pretty aggressively over here, as we are gonna have quite a lot of Volos coming in for him though. In this one, Eagles and Archers already coming out for Jordan over here. Something that's always gonna beat Archers. On the bright side of things, Briton Archer range work faster, so the production will definitely be there for SongSong to beat Jordan. And oh no, Jordan! Don't tell me. Jordan can't find his opponent. Oh, I'm on another capture age. Whoops. Sorry. Sorry. So, what I wanted to say is that Jordan couldn't find his opponent. You see the path he took. He was going in this way and then all the way over here. Sorry. I completely forgot about the fact that I turned off Capture Age. But anyways, this bought some precious moments for SongSong here. Because if you take a look at his walling, he just finished this section. If Jordan arrives here a little faster, this wall wouldn't have been complete. So that is a massive thing here for SongSong. By the way, he apparently does not know that there is a hole here, so that could backfire really badly. We are gonna have double ranges coming in here for SongSong. He hasn't gotten fletching or any eco upgrade so far, so we are gonna have just massing archers and probably trying to use them only in Castle Age for SongSong. Look at SongSong though. Look at those resources. That's a brutal build for him. This is basically straight fast cancel, and I'm pleasantly surprised by how clean this build is. Jordan is also going up, but if you take a look at Jordan, he only made this with one range and only a couple of archers produced. So the fact that SongSong actually was able to go double range archers and still do the same castle age time is pretty impressive, I have to say. Jordan instead has gotten double bit axe a little faster, as now the archers will move out. If SongSong times this perfectly, he's going to arrive when Crossbowman hits and he's gonna have Botkin, so he has 8 range. Now, Jordan is going for a big Voz over here. He's got a very handy forest here on the right side that just blocks a lot of the map. And honestly, I like that he's voling all the way around because this gives him a lot of wood lines at the back. And you might be hearing fire trucks because I live one corner away from a fire station. So in case you hear fire trucks, that's me. Jordan actually has a stone gate behind. I kind of like that decision. Obviously, this means that he won't be able to afford 2 additional TCs, but considering that he's switching back to Eagles, that might not even be the plan. And the thing is that the weakest part of your wall is probably the gate. So the fact that you're actually using a stone gate is like pretty reasonable. And the reason why you build it behind is because you want to make sure that the opponent can't just walk into your base while you're building this. So, archers arrive a little bit early, to be honest, and I feel like SongSong has sort of lost the element of surprise over here, as we now have the Eagles coming out. The thing is that the Mayan Eagles will work just as fine here as Aztecs do, but obviously the production is a lot slower for Mayans, as SongSong is going to lose that scout for nothing. That's pretty bad for him because now he's gonna have a tough time scouting. But look at this. That's a lot of archers, and it looks like the Eagles are chasing this group. SongSong is moving in from the other side with the crossbows. This could be a perfect timing to hit the back of that wood line. Meanwhile though, Jordan is going for a forward siege workshop here, so he wants to go Eagles and Mangonels, 2 additional TCs for SongSong. Very interesting build that our Vietnamese player is using over here, and this is where we have to mention that in the previous round, Jordan actually played versus Bad Boy, another Vietnamese player, and won a free 2. Here come the crossbows. They closed distance very nicely, and Jordan is probably focused on microing his Eagles, but still realizing what's going on here. This is why, if you want to do it like this, so use the crossbows as a raiding unit style thing, then you probably want to grab ballistics here. Jordan is going to take a fight, but this is not a good fight for him. Now he has Eagle Warrior and +2 defense, so now he can take a reasonable engagement, but still he's losing quite a few Eagles here, as we got EGCTV coming in with the sub. I appreciate that support. In case anybody has missed that, yesterday I made my debut as an AoE free caster on EGCTV. I had a very fun time, and we had an insanely good set as well to cast, so we might revisit AoE free at some point in the future. Alright, crossbows in small groups eventually will get cleaned up by the Eagle Warriors, but behind this one there is a free TC boom for SongSong with pretty consistent villager production. So if Jordan isn't able to apply a lot of pressure here, then SongSong might just be able to outboom him pretty heavily. On the bright side of things for Jordan, right now SongSong has no tools to stop those Eagles, although he does have 15 crossbows, most of them being back at home. So your win condition here right now for SongSong is Woes, and Woes, I would say, because here comes the battering ram. SongSong needs Siege Workshop, Mangonel behind. That's usually the way you defend against a ram like that. Scorpion also being added here by Jordan. SongSong already has a 10 villagers lead, and his army is fairly sizable, so 19 crossbows is nothing to be ashamed of, as the Eagles are trying to bash their way in. Nice move with the crossbows to pick off the Eagles, and it very much seems like that barracks will eventually go down because the Scorpion's taking shots on the villagers, but that's the 8-range crossbows for you. They are going to outrange the Scorpion, and they just have such the ability to deny the Scorpion from killing these villagers, and just to cover these walls. I really like the way that SongSong is playing, as he's going to switch into longswords, as he's adding a barracks. Now the crossbows move out. SongSong closes the distance, splits away from the Scorpion, and ends up taking down the Scorp. Might even get the kill on the ram, which would be massive. Jordan trying to poke around, but he's only now adding the second TC, and I kind of feel like this is the moment where SongSong is going to pull ahead in economy. Because Jordan wanted to be aggressive, but that didn't work. Now he doesn't really have the tools to be aggressive anymore. And suddenly, we're looking into a 13 villagers lead for SongSong. Man-at-Arms upgrade on the way for SongSong as well. He wants to switch into longswordsman in this one, because eventually that's going to get the Eagles killed, and this is the difference between Aztecs and Mayans. Aztecs have the production to overrun you with Eagles. Mayans do not, so while the Eagle switch definitely works for Mayans, it is much better for Aztecs over here. That's quite a few Eagles though, and I feel like SongSong's army is a bit mispositioned here. He may have gone too ambitious trying to break out of his base, and without ballistics it's also harder to accommodate for those splits that Jordan is doing. So we might easily see this group of crossbows getting trashed over here. Villagers absolutely going crazy over here. I'm not sure what's happening. Maybe a couple of villagers are sacrificed as meat shields. That's a new thing for me. It kind of feels like it. Villagers were just sent out as absolute human meat shields here to just absorb the damage from the Eagles. That's pretty unconventional in AoE too. I have seen that yesterday in AoE 3, but first time I'm seeing that in AoE 2, that you just send out a couple of vills to absorb the damage from the Eagles, and now Jordan starts to apply a lot more pressure. The Scorpion could deny the back of the wood line. I think the main problem here for SongSong is that he's not sitting behind his walls. When you have this many archers against the Eagles, just chill behind your walls and the Eagles will never get in. Arson coming in for Jordan as a Mangonel pops out. The Mangonel will take down the Scorpion. And while the economy in numbers is better for SongSong, Jordan now has 3 TCs, and there is a lot of inefficiency for SongSong. It's 55% compared to 75%. You got a completely untouched eco for Jordan. SongSong, on the other hand, is struggling very badly at keeping his eco operational. So, once again, crossbows just playing with their life over here. I kind of feel like that. SongSong is trying to move out of his base, but I feel like at this point, he could have just sat back and boom. Now, his economy is pretty much getting evened out by Jordan, and if it's even economies, then it's Jordan all day. Because, guess what? Jordan right now has the unit composition to beat SongSong. SongSong looks like he wanted to move out with a couple of wheels, maybe wanted to forward to respond to the aggression. As, oh boy, there's a hole here. There's a hole here, and this could be a disaster for SongSong. What a blunder. He used that hole to get back with the crossbows, but now the eagles run in. And this is just an absolute dream for Jordan. There is some longswords chasing, but from this point on, these eagles are absolutely sacrificable. You can just get as many villager kills as you can, make sure that your opponent's economy is an absolute trash pile, and oh, look at this. SongSong is just getting suffocated by all these eagles from all directions. Mobility is definitely on the side of the Mayan player here, and you see that now the battering ram bashes its way through the walls. I feel like now Jordan is doing an excellent job just exploiting the weakness of SongSong's base here. SongSong is a small base, which is pretty hard to defend. Looks like now SongSong will stabilize, but all his eco lead is gone. And considering how efficient Mayan economy is, you see that Jordan is working towards the Imperial with 36 on food, mining stone. I can tell you, this will be a castle over here. Probably over here, in fact, because that would deny the gold and the wood. And then just Imperial Age and plumed archers, because Britons will just die to plumed archers most likely. So, walls are up here to prevent the ram from breaking in, Mangonel coming in to support as well. The ram kindly gets taken down, and that's a sizable force of crossbows moving out. This was the plan the whole time for SongSong. Move out with the crossbows and start destroying Jordan. The problem is that this might be a little too late. Jordan now able to afford a castle, as we got some walls coming in for SongSong here. Still some eagles that will get some precious will kills. This is actually very valuable here once again for Jordan. Being able to kill 5 more Veils here is massive. Jordan looks like he's actually gonna go for defensive castle, which could be a bit of a problem because there is definitely a lot of surface area in this direction to attack. Maybe a forward castle here would have forced SongSong back. Obviously that's just speculation, but look at all these eagles still doing the work. 13, 14 villager kills now, and the longsword just struggling to catch up. Jordan is just absolutely tearing apart the eco of SongSong, now ahead by 10 villagers. SongSong needs to make something happen here because Jordan is imping, and I feel like in the first half of the game, SongSong was probably in a better spot, but now Jordan is taking over. He's just using his mobility so well. And while SongSong may have stabilized for now, it is just a little too late now. This is a ballsy move, but those crossbows could run past the TC. Looks like SongSong was thinking about that for a moment, and honestly, if they run in here, this could have been a disaster for Jordan. Now, with the TC up and the villagers garrisoned, it looks like SongSong won't actually decide to run into the base of the opponent. He probably doesn't know that Jordan is imping. Jordan does have a monastery over here with 1 relic inside that's just gonna be destroyed momentarily. But the big thing here is that SongSong is not imping and Jordan is. And Jordan is making plumed archers, the unit that is just going to steamroll Britons. Siege rams should also be a thing soon for Jordan because Britons struggle quite mightily against that. You will have imp eventually for SongSong, but looks like SongSong is misjudging his opponent's strategy here. He's adding barracks, which means that he assumes that it's gonna be eagles, and it's definitely a possibility that you see Eldorado eagles, but reality is plumed archers now Lord Doubt smile upon us. That could be quite a few villagers getting picked off here on that castle. It's gonna go up, because there is not even ballistics for SongSong. Don't tell me. Don't tell me that Jordan is not gonna lose a single will here. Okay, he lost 1, he loses 2. Acceptable casualties, I would say. Acceptable casualties. Imperial Age on the way as well for SongSong, but this is the moment where he's going to realize, oh shoot, I'm up against plumed archers. And that's where things are gonna get rough for him. The good news for SongSong here, though, is that plumed archers need castles to be trained, whereas crossbows only require archer ranges. So SongSong could easily outnumber his opponent with orbs and just trap down the castles. That's the win condition here, I believe, for SongSong. The ecos are still pretty close, but for whatever reason, SongSong is still getting infantry upgrades in, instead of armor upgrades for the archers, for example, or ballistics. Looks like he still believes an ego switch is imminent, but this could be his death here, because those plumed archers will steamroll his longswordsmen really fast over here. Once he's the plumes, he needs to start working towards archer upgrades, and it looks like he is going to start doing that now. Ballistics, archer armor coming in for him. Obviously, lack of tumbling is going to hurt really badly here because you just don't have the damage output anymore, and the plumed archers will try to hit this gold mine. SongSong has a backup gold mine on the left side, as Trebs are coming in for Jordan, another castle on the way. Keep in mind that Britons, once they get War Wolf, they will be able to win any Treb war, so that's definitely a nice thing. Jordan moves in the plumed archers. He does have ballistics and tumbling, and those plumed archers will tear apart everything with those upgrades, so the gold mine has to be evacuated. Siege Workshop here goes down for Jordan as the Trebs are already... No way this was intentional, right? There is no way this was intentional from Jordan. I think he thought that that Treb was stuck. He deleted the TC. I mean, he might not need that TC entirely, but I mean, still, what? How could the Treb be stuck to a TC? Was it actually stuck to a TC? Because then it's a bug. Because it shouldn't be stuck to a TC. Units can actually go beneath TCs like that. It was stuck? Yeah, I guess in that case that's alright and understandable for Jordan to lead the TC because he needs this trap ASAP. But still, that's so awkward. Alright, so no traps coming out just yet for SongSong. He really needs those. He at least has the hill and Jordan is firing up hills. This would be a slightly better spot for those traps to be set up, because then you would have even ground. Now you're firing up hills. There is chemistry coming in. Still a couple of plumed archers harassing the gold miners over here. Soon to be orbs will pick these apart. And as I said, the win condition for SongSong is to be able to take down the castles. He needs those castles down, and he's switching into skirms, which is a very disturbing sight against Mayans. Because sure, it's going to work against plumes, but Jordan is pretty close to switching into eagles. He has the eagle upgrades, and honestly, in the moment he sees the skirmishers, he needs to start adding +4 defense and also Elite Eagle, Eldorado. SongSong is not actually making crabs, which is a problem. And he doesn't have bombard cannon with Britons, so he has no tools to stop those trebs or to destroy those castles. And without destroying those castles, he will just be overrun by plumes. Another castle comes in for Jordan. I like that this is at a defensive position, and this is what I was talking about. Jordan sees the skirms, he knows it's eagle time, and from this point on, SongSong has to abandon that castle, and look at this. Those villagers might also get intercepted by the eagles. Very, very nice map awareness here by Jordan as well. He is also scouting for relics, I believe, with this lonely eagle here on the right side. Just trying to make it sure that even if this game is very long, he's not gonna be having any trouble. 2 relics already in his hand, and a third one could be a thing. Longswordsman dying very easily here to the plumes. Scribs are definitely forcing them back, but there is Eldorado. As Luffy D is gifting us up to Roxy. Thank you so much for the gift. I appreciate that. So, more ranges coming in, but from this point on, it's pure Civ matchup. You got plumed archers and Eldorado eagles against skirms and orbs. And this is what I was talking about. This is good news for SongSong here, intercepting a couple of wheels from Jordan, but the feeling is probably mutual because Jordan's gonna pick off a couple of wheels as well on the other side. What is better, Eldorado or Elite Eagle? Eldorado. But Eldorado is more expensive, I think. Eldorado is very, very expensive here. Skirm's taking a pretty decent fight over here against the plumes, although the plumes do have the hill. Bit of a ambitious fight here for Jordan. But with the eagles hitting the field, there is Eldorado and Elite Eagle coming in a moment as well. They are enough to soak up the arrow fire, and you see that SongSong is just getting pushed back more and more. This is extremely hard now for Jordan to lose, because he's got the unit composition. That's why having Mazo Civs available is very good for Empire Wars. Aztecs is probably the go-to Civ, because of the better Eagle switching Castle Age, but in Imperial, Mayans might even be better than Aztecs in the end. The Arbalasts are still picking apart some of those Eagles, but this is not sustainable for SongSong for long. The score sort of tells the story. 2,000 score lead for Jordan here. Now, keep in mind that these Arbs are actually able to get in here, so they could get a couple of Vil kills if Jordan is not paying attention. And that could be something to consider. Jordan is also using a lot of gold-heavy units, and, well, the thing is that he's got 3 relics. Mayans are more reliant on gold than Britons are, so maybe SongSong is playing for starving out the opponent. Looks like he's going for plate mail as the 200 swordsman, so he can actually take down the Eagles. The Arbs are actually trying to take down the traps here, just to make sure the production stays up a little longer. Plumed Archers, not there in enormous numbers anymore, but the Arbalest numbers are also dropping. These Arbs could definitely get value here. If Jordan loses 15-20 Vils here, that could be a disaster. Another castle for Jordan coming in here, as SongSong now starts to understand that there is no way that you are going to stop this flood of Eagles anytime soon. And Jordan still has a lot of gold to work with, so here's gold for him. There is gonna be gold here potentially for him as well. He's got 4 relics available. I think this was probably lost on that moment where SongSong didn't play defensive in Castle Age. He had the chance to just outboom Jordan and beat him to Imperial, go to Arbs or potentially Champions against the Eagles, and just capitalize on a faster Imperial. But that never happened because he went out with the Archers, lost quite a lot of numbers, and then allowed the Eagles to break in, so the economy suddenly got evened out. There were moments where SongSong's economy was much better than Jordan's one, but in the end, Jordan outbooms his opponent. Relic gold also in the favor of Jordan as well. It wasn't a bad game from SongSong, but Jordan felt a lot more convincing in the second half of the game. He's the favorite of this set after all, but if SongSong is playing like he did in this game, then he definitely has a shot at least at making this one competitive. Mayans will be gone for Jordan, and Britons will be a loss for SongSong over here. Fun fact, both players picked the Mayans and Britons respectively on the draft as the last one, so both last civilization picks are now gone. And we're going to the first home map of SongSong over here, as we got Luffy D with the gifts up to N-Brain as well. Thank you so much, I appreciate that a lot as well. Welcome. So, Land Madness, Meadow, Sacred Springs, 3 very open maps over here. For Sacred Springs, you have something like either Khmer. Khmer would be the best for Frigid Lake, but Sacred Springs can also be a very good map for Khmer. But India is most likely for Sacred Springs for Jordan. Meadow feels like that could be Huns. And then Land Madness, maybe Tatars. Cumans will go for Aftermath. Tatars would be ideal for Frigid Lake, I would say, but you might need to use it elsewhere. And then you need something for Kawasan as well. This is a tricky setup for Jordan because he's got good civs. The problem is that neither of these are specialized enough for these maps, because you need something that's a hybrid map civ for Kawasan. Although I think that's just going to be Aztecs, because you have the relics in the middle. So Aztecs for Kawasan. Aftermath is Cumans. Sacred Springs is Indians, which leaves Huns, Tatars, Ethiopians for Frigid Lake, Meadow, and Land Madness. Land Madness and Meadow have to be the cavalry civs, because both of these need speed. So that would leave Ethiopians for Frigid Lake, which is awkward at minimum. Alright, let's see if we have a second game over here. We should. So let's get going with this one. SongSong trying to turn the tide, and it looks like we're going to Land Madness with an interesting civ setup. Looks like Jordan is going to use Huns elsewhere because it's gonna be Ethiopians here for Jordan. Not a civilization that you frequently associate with Land Madness, a very, very open and aggressive map. Welcome to Land Madness. We have Jordan on the left side as red Ethiopians, and the right side is also an unconventional civilization in yellow. So, we're gonna have archer range opening for SongSong here. Good old-fashioned Saracens things. It's just gonna be fast market over here. Honestly, Jordan could have delayed this market. This scout should have probably hit this villager and delayed the market of the Saracen player. We have seen how you can actually counter the Saracen fast castle crossbowman play, and probably the best way to do that is to just get your own market up, sell your own stone as well, go up to castle age as fast as you can, and just make archers. That's basically the best thing that you can actually do over here, and that's exactly what Jordan is working towards. He actually made a scout, what am I talking about? He made a spearman, because guess what? He wants to take down the scout of SongSong here. SongSong will retreat for the time being, and we're going to see a stable. That's a bit unconventional, and I'm a little bit confused about the build here for SongSong, because it very much seems like he doesn't want to fast castle. But if that's the plan, this could be a nice bait. Because the thing is that with Saracens, you always do fast castle crossbowman play. So the opponents also prepare for that, and they go for, okay, I'm gonna sell my stone, go up to castle age. So if you do that, the Saracen player could easily overrun you with just scouts and archers, and that's probably the plan here for SongSong. He's going for fast bloodlines, an interesting decision when you don't even have a single scout. Look at this. Bloodlines for 0 scouts, that's an awkward choice. And Jordan is realizing what's going on. He didn't sell his stone exactly. He probably realized that, hey, my opponent is probably not fast castling here, and it's gonna be double stable scouts. This is why you picked Saracens here for SongSong. Because you wanted to bait Jordan into thinking that you're going fast castle crossbows. Because what do you do in that case? You go archers and skirms, and you sell your stone. And guess what? That's not the build that SongSong is doing. This was a massive bait, and it's working out masterfully here for SongSong because Jordan didn't add the second range. He wanted to get to castle age as fast as possible, but by the time he realized what's going on, it was quite late to add production buildings, and you see, he's making Ethiopian light cavalry, or well, scouts right now. Units that don't even have bloodlines. Bloodlines is a massive power spike, as it looks like Jordan is gonna be able to pick off a villager here on the wood line, trading his scout essentially for them. But look at the scouts now coming in, and those guys are beastly. So they can tank a lot of arrow fire. There's the first villager kill as well from Jordan. There is some more archers coming in here, but one scout should be able to clean this one up, although it doesn't have the defense upgrade just yet. It's a very, very chaotic game, but something that probably favors Saracens here at the beginning, thanks to the ability of having bloodlines, and, you know, this is still a very open map where scouts could be extremely valuable. The question everyone wants answered is whom the top NFL fantasy player is in 2021. I don't know. Let's wait until the season starts with that. And I'm also pretty bad at predicting fantasy results, so yeah, I might not be the best person to ask about that. Anyways, SongSong is going for double stable scouts here. He needs +1 defense, which is something that he's grabbing right now, and then he can just use the mobility of his scouts. I feel like this will snowball really fast over here, and he managed to bait Jordan into going for archers and skirms. Obviously, you don't really want to go scouts with the Ethiopians anyways, but this is why I said that I think that Jordan's having some civilization issues here. He had to swallow this pill here, that he's going to have to use a slow civilization for a map that requires a fast one. He could have gone Huns here, but he decided otherwise, but now he obviously has a disadvantage from that. Here come the scouts. Obviously there's quite a lot of spearmen here, archers trying to focus down the spears right now, and SongSong isn't really able to get much for his scouts right now, but he's harassing with archers, and you see now Jordan is going for a third range. Third range and scale mail. He wants to go spears and archers here, but I feel like it's one word: mobility. If you are SongSong, you have to defend with skirms and raid with scouts. That's the win condition here. That's not necessarily a great fight for SongSong, but he will still win that. And it's about making Jordan's life harder and harder here, just raiding left and right. He also runs into SongSong's army here. Still, Jordan's army is twice as big as SongSong's one, so SongSong so far wasn't really able to capitalize on his scouts, but that may soon change. It's all about that for SongSong, how much he can get for his scouts here. If he cannot get any raiding value or any value for the mobility of his scouts, that 1 HP villagers survive miraculously, those scouts could have easily yoinked her, then it could be a disaster. And now, guess what? Jordan is on the offensive. Look at how he's closing distance. This is beautiful gameplay here. He could have actually taken his first shot when he was here, but he didn't, because he knew exactly that the villagers would be running back to the TC. So he went in so that he could maximize his damage output, and boy, oh boy, he does. That is 4 villagers down, 5 villagers down. The bad news for him is that he's soon going to encounter a couple of scouts on his own gold mine. So that villager KD is pretty much going to even out here. And the archers are a bigger investment than the scouts are, especially when there is skirmisher support here for SongSong. So SongSong has taken a bit of a beating here, but now he's the one with the raiding ability. And it's going to be about the idle time on the food eco of Jordan as well. And if the food eco is idle, then producing villagers will be tough. Getting scouts or spearmen out is gonna be rough as well, as SongSong is now chasing down this army. There is defense upgrade for Jordan, no defense upgrade for SongSong, but Jordan doesn't have skirms mixed in here. Look at the resources. SongSong is getting closer to Castle Age over here, as Jordan is very, very far from that. That comes down to the efficiency of the farming eco. Despite the fact that SongSong didn't particularly have a successful raiding in Feudal Age. Big fight over here, as SongSong is going to have to acknowledge that he's going to lose his army, and now it's a pretty massive force of skirms coming in here. SongSong needs to start using his mobility more, and there has to be just 4 skirms now from the range. Just defend with skirms and raid with the scouts is the win condition for SongSong. He is still queuing up a huge amount of scouts here, and now he's going to jump on the gold mine of his opponent. Once again, Jordan is defending very, very heavily with spears here. It's a lot of spearmen that he's popping out. Something that he needs to do. I like that he's just going for mass spears, but still, his attention is being stretched out more and more. SongSong, he needs to just hit multiple places, because the spearmen will have to chase all the time. On the other side, look at this. That's a huge amount of archers, and SongSong barely has anything to hold his base with. I kind of feel like SongSong may not have the APM to just micro free groups of scouts here. If this was Hera, for example, Hera would have torn apart the eco of the opponent over here, but this might be the moment of truth here for SongSong. The moment he has been waiting for is here. Absolute beauty to just take down so many vills. This tower might even go denied. It's gonna go denied, and that's a slaughter. That's an absolute slaughter there. Jordan losing a huge amount of vills. The scouts may go down, but at this point it might not even matter, because that's just a massive amount of kills. The good news for Jordan, though, is that he wasn't idle behind this one either. He is bringing the archers, and SongSong was losing villagers just as much as Jordan, and guess what? Jordan is the one with 400 food in the bank. Whoever gets to Castle Age first, I think, could win the game here, because first 2 knights might be enough here to clean things up. Now, keep in mind that SongSong is waiting for one decisive fight here. He wants to just destroy that entire army of archers, as Jordan is now getting very close to clicking up to Castle Age. Indeed, Jordan trying to sell a little bit. On the other hand, Jordan could lose his army just before clicking up here, as the skirmishers do a very nice job of supporting the scouts. Jordan trying to get as much damage on the skirms as possible, while the scouts are trying to get a good surround. This is still a cleanup here, but Jordan is on the way to Castle Age and SongSong isn't. So, indeed, that's probably a good summary of the game so far. SongSong had the way better strategy in this one, but Jordan just seems to be a better player currently. And you see that those archers will partially escape. The problem for SongSong is that he's still feudal, although now you also have to consider that, guess what? There is a lot of scouts coming, and we have seen Hera do this a lot of times. Just remain in Feudal Age and keep raiding. Because sure, if Jordan gets to Castle Age, that's nice, but SongSong has massive, massive chance of just raiding Jordan to death. This is a perfect spot to raid on the food, perfect spot to raid on the gold over here. Nice move, by the way, from Jordan. This is beautiful micro once again. Just sent one scout over here so he can take down the skirms. He needs to keep running with the archers, but once again, clear and precise gameplay there from Jordan. Scouts from SongSong trying to get some will kills, but there's so many spearmen here that it's really hard to take efficient trades. SongSong on the way to Castle Age though, but he's 2.5 minutes behind. He still has the mobility advantage though. So in the moment Jordan moves out, SongSong could have a potential window, but this is gonna be rough for SongSong. He is massing archers, he should be massing skirms now. Especially against Ethiopians that have such a one-dimensional unit composition, you probably just want to mass skirms, and that's the beauty of Ethiopians as well. You get the free pikeman upgrade, although it didn't matter because these spears were pretty weak. Although the scouts don't actually use the opportunity to kill the gold miners here, which is awkward. The fact that now you have pikemen for free is massive, and it's going to be crossbow Botkin, second TC added by Jordan. Once again, the strategy was probably better for SongSong over here. It was just a matter of the execution being way better for Jordan, and he's gonna camp the bottom of this tower over here, which means that this wood line is gone, and we will have a couple of Ethiopian camels mixed in. This is just to make sure that you can take down the buildings. Plus, a couple of camels can help immensely when it comes to cleaning up these scouts raiding. Looks like SongSong will once again launch a counterattack, but he needs to get massive value because he's about to lose 5 vills here. These vills cannot be saved. So SongSong needs to get some sort of retaliation here. Let's see, one villager goes down, Jordan follows, tries to focus down the villager that's furthest apart. Looks like he's going to end up killing just 4 here. Still good value obviously there for Jordan. On the other hand though, if those crossbows are able to hit this gold mine, that could be jackpot as well for our yellow player. So hold on, this may not be over just yet. The scouts here will die pretty easily through crossbowmen, but there is going to be some knights coming in. And the knights will be the power unit, so that can absorb a lot of arrow fire. Here come the scouts. This will stretch out the attention of Jordan, and this could be a perfect 1-2 punch. Jordan is focusing on this group of scouts, and SongSong is moving in with the crossbows. That's beautiful. He is only going to get 2 vills here, I believe, but that's still value for SongSong there. So the villager count still remains pretty close in this one. Meanwhile though, crossbows coming in for Jordan. Nice reaction from SongSong to jump into the tower over here as this army eventually gets cleaned up. The problem for SongSong is this bar. Army numbers. 35 versus merely 12 army. Jordan just needs a forward siege workshop and suddenly he can start snowballing the game. He also is going to encounter a third archer range here from SongSong, as SongSong is struggling quite badly with production, as you see. He definitely was floating a lot of gold and wood. Now he's going to invest that into ballistics. So, Camel gets picked off here, as Jordan now has ballistics as well. Jordan is going to be on 3 TCs as well, so he will start taking over economically. Whereas for SongSong, he remains on 1 for an unknown amount of time. Still though, there is not a lot of cavalry here from Jordan, which means that keeping track of those 1 or 2 knights that could just be guarding resources, trying to get some raids in, could be challenging for Jordan. That's probably the way that SongSong has to play this one. He needs to be able to get some raids in, but for him the score doesn't look very promising. That is a 1000 score lead at this stage of the game. Still though, SongSong is not entirely dead, and remember that Saracen crossbows are basically siege weapons. So, if Jordan's army is mispositioned, SongSong could easily get a lot of value for his crossbows. Looks like SongSong won't be able to though, because you got crossbows chasing. Nice find from SongSong over here, trying to pick off 1 villager. SongSong will also need Thumbring here really fast, because with Thumbring you would have even rate of fire compared to Ethiopian crossbows without, so you probably want to grab that as soon as possible. +2 defense is in, by the way, for SongSong, and he's actually taking a good fight here. So, a couple of villagers might actually end up biting the dust, But Jordan doesn't really care because he's killing more here on the right side. Kills free vills. And at the end of the day, once again, the villager count starts to swing into the favor of Jordan. He's just doing slightly better things, and that starts to matter. That starts to show really heavily as the crossbows of Jordan arrive, cleaning up those Saracen crossbows. Every time I see Saracens, I think that this civilization is pretty easy to counter when it comes to high-level gameplay. You know exactly that they will try to rely heavily on their crossbows in Castle Age eventually, so you just have to go for your own crossbows, and you have to go for a civilization that's pretty reasonable with archer play, like Ethiopians or Mayans. Crossbows now moving in. They did idle a couple of villagers here for Jordan, but really, at the end of the day, it is a better economy for Jordan. It's 106 population against 86. On the other hand, Jordan is playing kind of passive, and a siege workshop here could easily swing things back. And if SongSong uses this food to grab Thumbring, which would definitely be a possibility as Jordan goes for the defensive castle on the left side, with Thumbring and a couple of Mangonels or Scorpions to support, this could easily swing into the favor of SongSong here. SongSong goes as +2 defense, something that Jordan does not. So, SongSong has a window here. It's a small window, but keep in mind that the Saracen crossbows are pretty much siege weapons. So it's not like Jordan can sit back for a long time, because those crossbows will take down buildings pretty rapidly. Jordan's response to the siege workshop will be one of his own. Both players now have ballistics, but Jordan doesn't have a +2 defense. He does have the Hildo, and he's having the Ethiopian rate of fire bonus. On the other hand, that's the entire army of Jordan going down here, and Jordan may have overinvested into economy because suddenly the army numbers are not as good as they are used to. 6 crossbows only for Jordan, as he's making another defensive castle up over here. But now, the triple range archer production of Saracens is starting to pay off. There is no siege weapons coming in just yet from SongSong. On the other hand, as I said, these Saracen crossbows can take down buildings by themselves. So you might not even need that, and SongSong is going into Imperial. That's... Oh, that's not a thing that you should do if you're SongSong. You don't want to throw away your crossbows when you are going up to Imperial. But Jordan has a massive eco, so SongSong is gonna have to capitalize on that early imp. But that early imp is gonna be a massive power spike. Because you're gonna have Arbalest. What's even better is that you're gonna have Bombard Cannon. That's why he's not making anything on the workshop. He just wants to go for Bombard Cannon eventually. A couple of battering rams is nice because it's going to stretch out the attention of Jordan. But I think that at this point for SongSong, he just needs to maximize the amount of Arbalest that he can have. Because keep in mind that there is still a 2-minute window until Imperial that he needs to survive, and he needs to preserve his army for that period. If SongSong isn't able to capitalize on this imp, then Jordan is going to win this game very easily because he's almost got double the eco. But on the other hand, that's a pretty considerable Imperial Age lead, although you have to consider that Jordan is clicking up as well. So Jordan is gonna be only behind by 2 minutes. That's gonna be a long 2 minutes for Jordan. But if he can somehow bridge that through just by repairing these castles and just sort of turtle 2 minutes, he's gonna win the game. Because, once again, in Imperial, he's just going to steamroll because he's got way better eco. He could afford 5 more ranges of production. So, SongSong has a very, very small window here. And indeed, chemistry takes quite a lot of time. That's another problem as well for SongSong. As a beautiful fight for Jordan, look at this. He's microing that archer. The other problem for SongSong is that his army is very, very mispositioned here. And he doesn't have amazing numbers by any means. So there is Arbalest, Bracer, but he can't even afford chemistry. And you see Jordan is going for a guard tower. Interesting choice. But I think it's going to be more about denying resources with towers rather than actually defending against this push. This is a big problem here for SongSong. He must have gotten chemistry first here. because you need the bombard cannon ASAP. And those are precious seconds lost on chemistry. In fact, Jordan is going to be up to Imperial by the time chemistry comes in. This is looking worse and worse for SongSong. He had a small window, but Jordan's eco lead was just too massive to overcome. This often happens when you play one PC and you feel like, hey, I could just maybe finish the game with Imperial. Reality is that your opponent might have such a big eco that it's already too late by now. If this was the old Saracens that had more attack bonus against buildings, then this wouldn't have been a problem for SongSong, but now you need some sort of actual siege like bombard cannon. So, currently it is 31 Arabs versus only 23. Jordan, the only thing he needs is production, because look at the resources Jordan is floating. He's floating 1700 gold, Bracer coming in, Arbalest and Chemistry, something that he could easily afford. He still doesn't have the numbers though. SongSong with Chemistry just now queues up Bombard Cannon immediately, but now gets housed. I think what we are seeing from SongSong is, once again, good game plan, but the execution is just not there for him. He's just no match for Jordan's skills here, execution-wise. Precious seconds are wasted over here on him being housed. And, like, you see he's now spamming houses, but from a situation where he was like, okay, he could actually win the game with Bombard Cannons ASAP, we're in a spot where Jordan is pretty much winning this one. Because now Jordan can actually start using his resources on more Arbs. And you see that now it's 29 versus 26, Thumbring coming in for SongSong, something that he really needs in this one. There may still be a small chance for SongSong. If he can just take down the production buildings, he might be able to get something out of this. But I would say that his chances are probably lower than 5% here. Probably even lower than 3%. Bombard Cannon now coming in. Not sure why he's targeting the market. The market is of no use right now. The Siege Workshop is, the ranges are, but you probably do not want to waste your precious Bombard Cannon time on the market. Second thesis finally in for SongSong, as we have some defensive towers coming in here for him as well. But his wood line here is going to get smashed. Same for this gold mine, so his eco once again is going to struggle. And Jordan does have Ring Archer armor in here, so that matters quite a bit in this fight. There is just not enough numbers anymore for SongSong. 19 Arbs versus 30. And, you know, the RMLS numbers just keep growing for Jordan because he's got an insane economy behind this one. Whereas for SongSong now, he needs to go for Elite Skirms. But if SongSong goes for Elite Skirms, Jordan will just go Shotel Warriors and finish the game that way. I don't see a win condition anymore for SongSong here. He's just too much behind in economy. If Jordan actually used the resources he has banked up, this would be over a long time ago. He's floating 1500 food, 1500 gold. Jordan is not playing perfect here, but he's definitely outplaying SongSong in execution at minimum. Strategy, doubtful, but Jordan takes game number 2 as well. And with that, things are looking grim. Whoops. For SongSong here. He lost his home map, a map where I think he had a slight civ advantage at the beginning, especially for the strategy he wanted to do, but Jordan's execution was just better the whole time. So you see that APM advantage is something that starts to matter when it comes to macro, micro. Way better economy for Jordan. That's why he could just turtle it out and in Imperial just finish off the game with better numbers. So, 2 games in a row for Jordan over here. He is looking strong, as Land Madness will also fall into his hand. We're gonna have Saracens being a loss and Ethiopians being a victory for their respective owners. And now we'll go to one of the other 2 home maps of SongSong over here. Sacred Springs or Meadow. Both of these are very, very reasonable maps to play here right now for SongSong. He still is trying to play very open and aggressive games. I would say that maybe Meadow would be slightly more conventional. I feel like Sacred Springs can snowball very, very fast, and Jordan has Indians for that. so you probably want to go Meadow first, try to make it a 2-1, and then just go for one of the home maps of Jordan. I would love to see Aftermath being played, but that may not be a thing soon. All right. This was posted a minute ago. Crozini is saying all players are having issues joining the lobbies. Start praying. That is sad. Apparently we do have server issues once again. Let's hope that that gets figured out, because it would be ugly if technical difficulties would actually derail this. Jordan is able to host the lobby, that we know. Let's hope that SongSong is actually able to join in. On the Kaposh versus Kasva said they were able to join, so there is hope. But let's hope that everything goes smoothly over here. So as I said, Sacred Springs is gonna be Indians for Jordan. As I said, Khmer, Bulgarians, Berbers, all of those are reasonable for SongSong for Sacred Springs. For Meadow, I think that's gonna be a Franks versus maybe Huns matchup, which is pretty traditional on Meadow. Hunnic Cav Archers seem like a reasonable thing to go for in that matchup, so that would probably favor Huns. I just feel like Jordan's draft now with remaining civilization is much better than the opponent's one. It looks like SongSong was able to join the lobby, so the prayers were actually heard, and it looks like we will be able to continue with the next set, or with the next game over here. In this one, we will have well, we do have one quarterfinal that's actually overlapping with this one, so we have to choose one of these two. The other one is Kaposh versus Kasva, so obviously I can't cast that because I'm casting this one. And then you will have two more quarterfinals. So one of them is Slam versus Fire, other one is Bhakti versus Bards, and we will most likely go with Slam versus Fire in that one. And then there is the semifinals as well today, which will be the winner of this set versus the winner of Kaposh versus Kasva in this part of the bracket. We got Hoxen with the 6 months of primary sub. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Welcome back. So, we're going to Sacred Springs. It should be Indians. What is the best civilization for SongSong to counter Indians here? Maybe Bulgarians for a man-at-arms play. But I can see Khmer working just by jumping into houses and trying to play the game that way. That could be a possibility, because Sacred Springs has quite a lot of shorefish in remote areas, and you need to protect your villagers over here. That is a very snowbally map. Whoever loses access to the fish is probably gonna end up losing the game as well. Okay, it looks like Jordan's game has started as well, and it's gonna be Bulgarians, which was the other alternative choice. Bulgarians is a civilization that you can use to open with men-at-arms, and that's something that could cause problems to scout civilizations. On the other side of things, you also have to consider that Bulgarians will not have the economy as Indians do on this map. There's so much shorefish that if Indians are able to secure a position there, then that's gonna be crazy. Bulgarians will have to play probably scout or men-at-arms into scouts here. That could be a decent opening. So there's a chance Jordan is gonna open archers with Indians. Could make some sense. And then later switch into scouts, or maybe just go spearman defense and use archers. So spear and archer could be a thing here for Jordan. Might be better than just going pure scouts with Indians. on this one. This is a must-win for SongSong. You don't want to fall behind 3 games to your opponent, right? So this is a must-win. All right. So we will jump into the next game in a couple of moments when the spec countdown is going to end. And that is right now. So I'm going to welcome you on Sacred Springs in a matter of seconds. We are gonna have on the left side in yellow SongSong as Bulgarians, right side will be Jordan as Indians. As I mentioned, there is a lot of shore fishing over here, so Indians is usually the pick for this map, and it looks like indeed Jordan is gonna go Spearman defense and Archers, immediately going for defensive tower on his shorefish. The reason why I pick Bulgarians here is because oftentimes you open with men-at-arms, something that can push off the opponent from his pond. Now here's the deal though. I don't see a man-at-arms from SongSong, so once again, that's a bit of a mind games, and he will just play full scouts. I like this. I appreciate how creative SongSong is with strategies. He's not playing meta, he's playing unique strats, and I like that. First off, he's sending a bunch of more villagers to shorefish, which is something that you sort of have to do because you want to maximize your shorefishing income. And the reason why Jordan went for Archers is because he wants to counter the men-at-arms, but there is no men-at-arms coming, which means that you are gonna have full scouts from SongSong. This can work nicely if you grab a fast defense upgrade and fast bloodlines, because you will have to be able to fight Spearman. This map is going to be very similar, or this game, to the one that we played previously on Land Madness. You're gonna have the mobility advantage for SongSong, but it's going to come down to whether or not he's capable of using it. For now, Archers and Spears are coming forward, so do expect an Archer range to come up for SongSong eventually, but for now, he just tries to raid his opponent. Once again, Jordan's going to do the exact same strategy, just keep spamming Spearman. He also adds a stable for scouts. Keep in mind that this time around, the economy for Indians will be much, much better, so if the Bulgarian player isn't able to push off the Indian one from the shorefish, then trouble could come for the Bulgarian one. Jordan jumps into the tower quite nicely over here, as a villager will get picked off. That's nice value over there for SongSong, but he ends up losing 3 scouts, so you gotta debate if that was actually worth it. Looks like the Spear and Archer is coming towards the starting base of SongSong, who is now grabbing +1 defense. He could soon get a second stable up because he's got quite a lot of food, but I think that's going to be for bloodlines soon. He pops out these scouts, that's a nice move. He waited until the +1 defense comes in, he already has +1 attack as well, and he just wanted to kill the Archer. Because the Spearmen are no threat to his villagers, he just wanted to yoink the Archer. So the next thing for SongSong, I believe, has to be Bloodlines. He needs to cancel 2 wills, go for Bloodlines as Jordan runs into the TC fire with the Spearman. So now the scouts arrive. Jordan is also going for the defense upgrades. He has the attack upgrade as well. So as the scouts pass each other, it's going to be completely even terms for both players. But there's a difference. There is not a lot of Spearmen for SongSong, so he's going to struggle stopping those scouts. Like, these villagers are exposed and Jordan is already going for Bloodlines. I think Jordan is the player that's doing what SongSong is supposed to, and there is no Spearman here to defend. Jordan is going to hit those shore fishing villagers. That is going to be a slaughter. That's going to be a slaughter. That's villager number 1 down, and there is going to be 2 more going down. Make it a villager advantage now for Jordan, I believe, although it looks like he's going to disengage, so it's just a 1-1 villager KD right now. Still, SongSong is not grabbing Bloodlines, which is a troublesome sign, I would say. He needs Bloodlines in this matchup. If you go full Feudal Scouts, then it's gonna be with Bloodlines. Now, SongSong looks like he's just going for mass Spearman here to defend his Woodlines, and he pokes down 1 scout, pokes down another one. It looks like stand ground wasn't working there for Jordan, as now SongSong comes in with his scouts. If he had bloodlines, he could maybe take this fight, but not without. There is too many spearmen over here. Still, looks like this spearman is going to get some nice hits in. Jordan just tries to drag it away as Jordan goes for the second pond. On the other hand, look at the resources for SongSong. He's working towards Castle Age here, I believe. On the not so bright side of things, when you click up to Castle Age, you expose yourself to being overrun in Feudal. So that's something that you have to consider. Jordan is investing a lot into his scouts. It's double stable scouts for Jordan, who gets housed for a moment. If SongSong can actually survive the next couple of minutes, he's gonna be all good because he will have knights and Jordan will be stuck in Feudal. Because when you get to Castle Age, you will be making knights, your opponent will be forced to defend with spears and scouts. That means that your opponent has to invest more resources into his defense in Feudal, making him pretty much stuck in Feudal forever. On the other hand, as long as you're not in Castle Age, your opponent has the chance to just steamroll you with superior amounts of units, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. Another couple of villagers went down here for SongSong, and it very much seems like he's going to lose his pond here, because he's not sending his scouts around. The difference between the two players is that Jordan has a lot of spearmen, or at least around the fishing areas, and SongSong does not. SongSong will be forced to flee here, and that is a huge amount of vills. That there is bloodlines now, and now Jordan is losing a lot of vills as well. Quite a few of them got trapped in here. SongSong lost 8 vills, Jordan only lost 2 though, and you see, this is the risk of going into Castle Age here. The player in full Feudal could easily overrun you with more army, and that's exactly what you're observing over here. And that's exactly how the previous game should have been a thing for SongSong. Overrun the opponent with superior amounts of scouts, and the spearmen no longer are sufficient to defend when you have fully upgraded Feudal scouts. Mass migration of villagers for SongSong. Jordan clicks up as well, but still, it's going to be a rough one now for SongSong. There is gonna be +2 defense coming in. If there is any hope for SongSong, then it's the fact that a couple of knights could easily swing this back in his favor. But look at this. Jordan is using an archer to deny the back of the wood line, and even if you get 2 knights, reality is that Jordan is just gonna make camels. It is 28% eco-efficiency versus 70%, and really, like, there is gonna be +2 knights, but SongSong can barely afford to make any knights over here. I would borderline saying that this many scouts will probably beat a knight here, so you see more scouts coming in, and Jordan's just gonna make light cav upgrade. Behind this one, by the way, Jordan has shore fishing, SongSong does not, which means that Jordan's food income is much more reliable. I did mention that this map is very, very snowbally. You can just finish off your opponent really fast if you actually get control over the shorefish in a convincing way, and your opponent loses it. Then your opponent is just gonna have such a bad food eco. You see that this many farming is probably accounting for the villagers shorefishing over here, and Jordan also has his own farming here. So triple stable camels, in fact, that also have building attack bonus. Look at the amount of food that Jordan is possessing. That's all about the Indian shorefishing. One of the reasons why I massively dislike this map for the tournaments. This map is so heavily focused on Indians. It's not like it's impossible to win it with a different civilization, but Indians are probably the clear favorite here, just because of their economy. So, you are gonna have camels coming in here. Jordan also goes for the light cav upgrade as the villagers start making TC here. 6 villagers lead for Jordan, and what's more important is that he has access to shorefish. Quick was coming in here for the vills, the camel is beating down knight, and now what are you gonna do? If you're Bulgarians, you don't have a unit that counters the camels here. You could go pikemen, but then you don't have mobility. So, it is 1 villager killed over here. Some value is there for SongSong, but honestly, his best shot might be Bulgarian cav archers here. Even then, it's pretty rough, but maybe he would have a chance with that, because he needs something against the camels, and as I said, pikemen will not be sufficient. The knights get intercepted here by the camels. The camels also have +2, +1, so it's not like those knights will accomplish much. And you see that Jordan is already following up with the other thing that these pawns give you, 2 relics. 2 relics per pawn, you could easily yoink 4 relics, or honestly, for Jordan, he could easily take these, and maybe even these. So, there's a lot of relics to pick up here on this map, as the light cav and camos now arrive, and SongSong will just acknowledge that he has been outplayed in this game as well. Looking ugly right now. Looking ugly. He's not playing bad, but Jordan is exploiting all the weaknesses that SongSong is showing. Jordan just always finds a way to capitalize on a mistake from SongSong, as we have a much better kitty, but you can clearly tell where this went wrong for SongSong. This is where he clicked up, and when you click up, you spend a bunch of resources on aging up and not on army. So the resources that SongSong sent on aging up is resources not spent on army, something that Jordan did, and that's why he could finish the game in Feudal. Had SongSong gotten to Castle Age without losing considerable amounts of vills, SongSong would have finished off the game, because then Jordan won't really have the chance to get up to Castle Age himself anymore. But he was able to strike at SongSong's base when it was needed. And with that, indeed, military high is also somewhat underwhelming. 11 army high for SongSong, 22 for Jordan. This probably was the cleanest defeat so far. In the other 2 games, SongSong at least had some momentum. This one was an absolute annihilation. And now, you are down 3 games. Your confidence is probably going to get shaken up a little bit. It's really hard to come back from here. Jordan is very, very close from playing in the deciders, because it's a best of 7, so it's not over just yet. We are gonna have Bulgarians gone for SongSong, and Indians will be a win. By Jordan. So, we're gonna have one more map remaining for SongSong. This is the problem that SongSong is facing right now. He has chosen very similar maps as his home maps. Didn't work on Land Madness, didn't work on Sacred Springs. And he has a very similar map, Meadow, as his third home map. He wanted to play the open maps, he wanted to play the aggressive maps, but the problem that he's facing right now is just the fact that his opponent is better than him on the open maps. And when you select all your home maps to be from the same style, if your opponent turns out to be better than you on those maps, you are in big trouble, and that's exactly what we're seeing over here. Jordan proving to be more powerful than SongSong on these open maps, and now SongSong doesn't even have any backup map or something that's different from these open maps. There is still a shot for him, but now I think it's gonna be Franks versus Hans, and that is, I think, Hans all over the day. Hans Cav Archers is not something that Franks can easily answer. That would leave Khmer for Frigid Lake versus Tatars, or maybe Japanese. Cumans will go for Aftermath. Meadow could also be Aztecs here, now that I think about that, because you got Japanese for Kawasan. Japanese Aztecs, one of those 2 will be used on Kawasan. Cumans will go for Aftermath, which means that Tatars or Huns or Aztecs will be the choice here for Meadow. On the other side, I think it's a little bit more straightforward. Most likely Franks, maybe Berbers could be a thing. I don't see Chinese being used. On paper, Khmer could be an idea, and then use Chinese on Frigid Lake, but I feel like Khmer just has to be on Frigid Lake. That's such a powerful civ there, due to their economy. It would be a surprise if Khmer was used elsewhere. All right. Looks like SongSong is hosting the lobby. And the players will be ready to jump into the next game in a matter of moments. Match point. All right. So let's get going. How was your teaching vacation? It was all right. It was all right. So get myself refreshed. Took a bit of a break from casting. So we should be ready to go, I believe. There is still no game number 4. So we may have to wait a couple more moments. They just now launched the game. So we'll probably have spectator delay as well. But at least we can talk about the civilizations in this one. Hold on for a moment while I actually look for the game. It's very hard to find games today, according to discussions with other casters, because there is something up with the servers. So it's not ideal, but we are doing our best to try and cover things. Why is D90 dodging all these C games? I just feel like probably D90 wants to spend the weekend chilling. It's understandable. Family stuff like that. He's going to be casting, well, at least I assume that he was gonna be casting the main event. We'll see if that's actually a thing because of COVID. But I think that it's not really a surprise. He's just going to cast something else. He did community games on Friday, that I know, so... Isn't T90 dealing with some moving stuff? I wasn't really following on his social media that much. Didn't really have time to read those, and I don't really have time to watch his streams, so... I don't know. If he's moving, then it's also understandable. Oh yeah, true. I think I heard something. Like, he said something like he's... Oh yeah, he told a story about a landlord, right? That the landlord is trying to sell the house. So, yeah, he might be moving after all. Alright, where is the game at? It should have started as... Nope. Nope. Krazini is saying that the game hasn't started yet. So, no one has actually started... Well, it started. That's interesting. That is definitely interesting. Oh yeah, it did. Okay, now I can see it. Good. It just took some time to appear. Sorry, we're actually in. And it's Byzantines versus Aztecs. Not a civilization matchup that's very, very common in this one. If the game decides to join. Okay, it did. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Stuff is not on my end. So we'll have to do a bit of a fast forwarding over here to catch up with things. We'll have SongSong playing as blue, but I'm just going to make him yellow so that it's consistent with the previous games. We're gonna have Jordan on the right side as Aztecs. Somewhat of a predictable civilization pick over here, whereas on the other side, you are gonna have Byzantines for SongSong in yellow. Interesting choice to go for Byzantines in this one. Looks like he's opening scouts, and we should be caught up with the game now. Apologies for that. Just wanted to make sure we're all live. So, we are gonna have scouts coming in on the right side, Jordan quick walling his berries, and honestly, I like this scout's choice here. Because it very much seems like Jordan is going double barracks, Eagles, an unconventional play, pretty much. This is one of the more interesting matchups in late game because Catapracts could be a thing, and SongSong is mining stone. This is scouts into Catapracts, guys. Once again, I love the game strategy of SongSong here. Is it gonna work? Doubtful, or at least questionable. But one thing is sure, there is definitely a lot of thought process behind the strategies of SongSong. He's not just coming in here saying that, okay, I'm going to play something like scouts. He probably anticipated Aztecs to be picked over here as Jordan tried to trap those scouts. And he is going to play Catapracts in this one. There is probably going to be a market coming up to buy himself some food, click up, and Catapracts might be the solution against the Eagle problem. It's interesting that Jordan didn't want to go for a single archer play, because it could have been a thing for him, but it looks like he was scared about the full scouts play of SongSong. That probably was the idea, that SongSong goes full scouts, and that's the reason why Jordan just went for Spearman and the Eagles. It's interesting, however, that Jordan is sitting back very, very defensively here. Despite the fact that his villagers on the berries are walled, and his wood line is walled, he could definitely move out with the Eagles, something that he's doing right now. Woodlines of SongSong are also walled. Jordan, on the other hand, managed to find some extra berries and some extra hunt at the back of his base, something that's gonna boost his economy quite heavily in this one. So, we are gonna have Castle Age on the way for both players. Jordan is slightly faster clicking up. The biggest thing for Jordan here is production speed. So it's one thing that you are gonna have Catapracts. On the other thing, however, is that the Eagles will just overrun you before you can actually get a lot of Catapracts out. What map is Jordan saving Indians for you, do you think? Indians was played in the previous one, and oh boy, Jordan opened up the walls. That could be the first villager casualty of the game. Somewhat sloppy to let that villager die over there. That is one villager dead. Rest of the villagers are all safe over here as SongSong avoids running into the Spearman. There is already +1 defense in for the infantry of Jordan, and +1 attack is coming in as well. Quick walls will fail, and SongSong is just a little too low on stone. Is he gonna have enough stone to get a castle up? Oh, he's missing 5 stone. But this lady is carrying 6. It's just enough. You're gonna need that castle around this area, but Jordan will obviously try to actively deny that. As looks like we're gonna have a switch back into crossbows from Jordan. By the way, there is an overchop on that wood line. If the scouts find it, that could be a couple of precious will kills. Nice quick wall over there from SongSong, but that pulsade wall foundation is still very weak. SongSong! Last second save over there. That was a last second save on that wall. Castle Age is in for SongSong, and the castle will come up. It has to be around here, right? There has to be a castle soon for SongSong. Scouts are coming back, and there's a knight popped out as well. Jordan is completely switching into archers. This is an interesting decision, because it's going to take quite a lot of time to mass the archers, and now that is a ballsy move from SongSong. For a moment, he considered dropping a castle here in the middle to prevent the opponent from picking up the relics. Then he realized that he doesn't have the army to get that up, and he's going to pay the price by losing a villager here and potentially another one over here. Still though, the fact that it's going to take a lot of time for Jordan to mass archers is disturbing for him. Because knights, Catapracts could easily cause quite a bit of problems before you could get your crossbow numbers up high. So, what I would say for SongSong should be a thing, as there is a monk coming in. The scouts being leftovers from Feudal Age is very nice over here, because Jordan is coming in for the relics. SongSong needs to snipe those monks. He sees the monk and he should send the scouts back now. So far, so good for SongSong, and now he's sending the scouts. Jordan is trying to yoink the relics because he's going to be playing 1 TC here for a while, but 5 relics is 5 relics with Aztecs. Crossbows now in. They do have Botkin arrow, but the monk goes down. Sanctity on the way for the monks over here. In this one, Lady getting chased by 2 spearmen here, but we are gonna have knights hitting this corner. If they actually find these villagers here on the right side, these are random villas. I'm not even sure what they're doing here. It looks like they're going for a shorefish. So Jordan just doesn't want to add a lot of farming. He wants to go for a shorefish, but that's such an unconventional spot that the knights aren't even checking there. Scouts still lurking for monks, whereas the knights will finally find the berry villagers of Jordan. So the killing shall begin as Caraprax will hit the field. On the not so bright side of things for SongSong, his wood line here is exposed to crossbowmen, and there is nowhere to go from this area, so as much as Jordan is losing a couple of berry villagers over here, SongSong is about to lose some lumberjacks. You probably are gonna need a tower here. SongSong for now just going mass migration with his villas, and it looks like this might be a TC here. Is he gonna TC this spot? Yes, he will. That's actually a good decision. One knight gets converted and then gets beaten down by the others, as Jordan is also mining stone at a quite rapid pace. So far we have 1 relic in for Jordan, and it seems like SongSong might be able to save his vills. On the other hand, SongSong doesn't have a single bit of armor on his knights or cataphracts, and he needs that. He needs armor here against the crossbows, otherwise these guys will melt like butter. There is gonna be a villager death here. Yep, that's probably a vill kill, or not. SongSong is surviving quite nicely over here. The only problem he's facing is that he's going to give 5 relics to the Aztec player, and that's not something that he can afford to let happen. So, if he limits the Aztec player to 3 relics, that's still alright, but more than 3 relics here for Jordan would be, I think, a win in the early stage for Jordan here. There is a 6 villagers lead for SongSong, and he's now on 3 TCs, mining stone like a madman. So I would assume there is going to be a second castle eventually, but this is not a fight that SongSong wants to take. He needs armor, above all. At least +1 defense, but preferably +2. The Scorpions are massively mispositioned here. These Eagles could just dive in and snipe them, and they should. On the bright side of things, now there is no more crossbows, which means that the Caraprax can come in. Jordan realizes that the Scorpions are wide open. Although that's 4 Scorpions, and it looks like only one of them will go down. That's a win here for SongSong, and with the scouts lurking around, they could easily pick off some monks as well before those could actually get the relics. Jordan really wants the relics before the time runs out for that, but now the Caraprac numbers start to increase. Scouts could definitely dive in on the monks, and that should be the #1 priority here for SongSong. Number 2 is armor. So let's see. Monks does have Sanctity, so they are pretty sturdy, and it looks like the scouts will be insufficient to take them down. Jordan is able to take all 5 relics here. That is a massive, massive advantage, as the Eagles will now jump on the Scorpions. Very nice micro there from Jordan, and once again, just a bit of a sloppy execution from SongSong, but it's enough to swing the battle in the favor of Jordan. That was the story this entire set. SongSong came up with very creative and innovative strategies, but Jordan was just outplaying him when it comes to execution, and that's exactly what we're seeing here as well. So now it is 3 relics for Jordan, but 2 more are arriving, making it 5, which easily compensates for the 4 villager deficit that Jordan does have over here. That's a castle drop. That's a castle drop around this area from SongSong. He wants to deny Jordan's wood line, and Jordan's army isn't really close to this. Look at that. Jordan is trying to push this wood line, but his opponent is not here. Jordan doesn't know about this TC. This is so weird. Jordan doesn't know about this TC, so he was trying to raid this wood line, but there is no one here. And then he's like, oh shoot, there is a castle coming up in my face. And he can see that. He can clearly see that, but he cannot do much about that. That's the only wood line that Jordan has right now. Redemption on the way for Jordan. He will probably try to convert that stable, maybe even the siege workshop out here, as now the castle goes up, and these villagers will just be happily chopping wood around this area. Ecos are still pretty close, but obviously 5 relics helps Jordan quite immensely in this one. Catapract numbers aren't really convincing, it's only 4 of them. I've seen better, I have to say. There is 2 castles to produce Catapracts at, so there is definitely potential for more. And you are gonna need more eventually. Aztecs don't have Thumbring, by the way, so... yeah, they can play Crossbow, they can play Arb, but those are not amazing units for them. They want to play their Eagles. That's quite a lot of Monks, though, for Jordan. Plus a bunch of Crossbows. Those Monks can also convert the Scorpions that are once again heavily mispositioned. In this one, I like how Jordan is using a low HP converted Catapract to just scout the corners, see what's up over there. Whereas for Jordan, it looks like he's going to launch an offensive against the base of SongSong. Jordan is buying food very heavily. I wonder if part of that is trying to get to Imperial. Jordan can afford a castle himself, and with this army here, he could easily drop a castle, and there is the Redemption Monk trying to go for the Siege Workshop. One of them will probably go for a stable, and Jordan could easily convert the stable and get some Xolotl warriors out. That would be an absolute beauty. The Catapracts are focusing down the crossbowmen over here, but that is a quick conversion there for Jordan. He also converted the higher HP Catapract. So once again, a win here for Jordan, and it looks like he's gonna go full clown mode. He converted the Siege Workshop, and he's about to convert the market and the barracks. The best way to destroy buildings is to convert them. In quotation marks, obviously. Because this way, Jordan is even gonna get the market and the Siege Workshop, and his opponent is gonna lose it, just as if it was destroyed. The romantic castles coming in here. Another castle drop is attempted here by SongSong, but he's gonna have to give up on that upon seeing the castle here. Instead, honestly, SongSong needs a castle right here, or right here. Oh no, SongSong, that's lowered out. There is no way SongSong gets that castle up. That's way too late to stop it. What is he doing? If he had any chance in this one, now it's thrown away, because all those villagers are about to get massacred. The converted Catapract taking down a Scorpion, one of them gets converted as well. It's an absolute slaughter. Behind this one, SongSong is losing an eco, and I kind of feel like this castle is going to do absolutely nothing to win the game for SongSong. Jordan is gonna go for another castle over here, and looking at those resources, Jordan is getting ready to click into Imperial. He would trap down those castles. Looks like Jordan is gonna have a clean sweep over here, and he is very close to moving into the final round of the qualifiers. He was the favorite on this bracket, but after he only played 3-2 versus Bad Boy, there were some doubts, and there were at least some concerns that SongSong could make it hard for him. And massive shout out to SongSong, because he came in with a lot of great strategies, a lot of good ideas, but Jordan is just a better player. That's it. Jordan is about to click into Imperial here, and that means traps on this hill. This castle will be gone, probably this one as well. And behind this one, Redemption Monks already in, converting Siege Workshops. I think at this point, Jordan could queue up some rams and start destroying these buildings. Imp is coming in as well for SongSong, and that could maybe save the day for him, but right now it's a less than 5% chance. I like how he's targeting the blacksmith though, because whatever Jordan does in Imperial, he's gonna need the blacksmith upgrades, as we have a Jaguar warrior out. So without the imp upgrades, his units will not be as good. You can delay the imp upgrades by destroying the blacksmith. Another castle coming in here for Jordan, as the crossbows just deny so much farming space for SongSong, and SongSong is starving for food right now. Really badly, in fact. Fervor as well for Jordan, and it looks like we're gonna have Arbalest and Monk for Jordan here as his unit composition. SongSong is getting +2 defense, so he wants to initiate a fight over here. Jordan is going to see that, and Jordan has enough Monks to convert half of those Catapracts. This is not a fight that SongSong can take. SongSong, on the other hand, dropping a castle here on the right side with only 2 villagers. This could be stopped by Jordan in the tower. Jordan might even be able to rush up a castle here if he wants to, but it looks like that's not going to be the case. I see fletching coming in, which is probably a sign for elite skirms for SongSong. The ecos are still pretty close, as Jordan is going to rush up a castle here after all. And indeed, there come the elite skirms from SongSong. Now, Catapracts and Elite Skirms is one of the scariest unit compositions in the game. But you're gonna have to get to those numbers. At least there is a chance here for SongSong, although with that Jaguar Warrior chasing down those villagers and the crossbowmen and monks following, I feel like that's -9 wills for SongSong. Catapracts coming in here, once again, should not really be able to do much. No conversions for Jordan here just yet. Arbalest upgrades will be in. These villagers could try to fight that Jaguar Warrior, honestly, because there is nowhere to go, so might as well fight for your life. And indeed they do. They will get slaughtered anyways by the crossbowmen. So, multiple traps are coming out here for Jordan, but these are Byzantine buildings. Something that should be considered. SongSong is making traps right now. The castle here goes up just in time. So, there is a lot of things to discuss. Number 1. You are gonna have traps out against Byzantine buildings. It buys some time for the Byzantine player to get his own traps out. Number 2, you're gonna have Catapracts here, which means that they can actually dive in and snipe traps later on. Not these, because these are too well protected, but once they move out, that's gonna be a thing. But for that, you will need plate barding for the Byzantine player. So one castle falls over here. Response will be the assault on this castle. There needs to be trap produced over here as well, though, for SongSong. He needs to get like 4 or 5 traps, because he will be fighting up hills. So, traps being set up. They're actually surprisingly close to the castle here, and looks like they will fall back. Traps from Jordan now shelling this castle over here. Villagers will be forced to repair, and as I said, this castle also needs to produce traps. They need to start pushing this side, because what Jordan is doing is exactly what you have to do here. You need 5 traps, because you want to melt buildings. Bracer coming in, as the Catapracts will dive in. The Catapracts don't have +4 defense, and without that, I don't think that you can dive in to snipe those traps. No stone available for SongSong to repair. He needs to buy a bit of a stone for repairs. On the bright side of things, the castle here for Jordan will fall faster, so that buys some time for SongSong. Looks like he's going to take down the TC as well. It's gonna be a trade of castles, though, which is not good for SongSong, or not good enough, to be precise. So now the Catapracts dive in, but still without +4 defense, that is a premature fight, something that you shouldn't be taking, and you can see the result. It's a slaughter. The Elite Skirms are getting better and better here in terms of upgrades, and you are gonna have +2 defense here in a moment for them, but they need that upgrade before they want to take this fight. Still, this is not really efficient for Jordan. Ballistics is now in. Skirmishers rely very heavily on that archer armor, so the fact that it was just +1 defense on those skirms definitely didn't help, but still, better than nothing here for SongSong. At least gives him a chance to somehow crawl his way back into this game. Still, that's 45 orbs to match up against, and SongSong is about to lose another castle. And while Jordan can just make eagles and orbs on his standard production buildings, SongSong needed those castles for Catapracts. That's the problem. That it's one thing you're going for full Elite Skirm. If you don't have Catapracts, you will be eaten alive by eagles. So, this requires 2 types of units, skirmishers and Catapracts. And currently I only see skirms on the field, but since they're taking this fight without ring archer armor, skirmisher numbers might also dwindle, and I feel like the GG might be imminent here, because options are just running out for SongSong here. Once again, he has had an okay/good game. It's just a matter of his opponent having a much better game. Jordan has played very clean in this entire set. Very small chances are available, I would say, for SongSong. He only has 1 castle to produce Catapracts at, that's the problem. And you see that now Jordan is the one that switches gear. He's the one that gets a couple of barracks out on the north for raiding with eagles, gets a castle out here to deny this wood line. And elite eagles now are coming in. Remember that Jordan is sitting on 4 relics behind this one, and he actually just not garrisoned the 5th one, or accidentally ungarrisoned it. So he could have 5 relics here with Aztecs, which obviously is a massive amount of gold income. Kill advantage on the side of Jordan there as well. Ring Archer armor is a must-have right now for SongSong. Once he has it, he might be able to take a good fight, but not like this. throwing away the precious Cataprax. That's a game-losing move there for SongSong. That's a game-losing move. He needed those Cataprax against the Eagles, and now it's all gone. He's down to 7. Those already don't have great upgrades, so they're missing attack upgrades. They don't have Logistica or Elite, but such blunders are not going to be something that you can afford against a player like Jordan. SongSong was the underdog, but you see that it's not necessarily about the strategy, it's about just how good you are as a player when it comes to execution, and Jordan seems to be way better with that. Garland Wars coming in for those Egos as well, to make them fully upgraded now, or soon fully upgraded. As here come the Egos. Cataprax will take a fight, but these are essentially Castle Age Cataprax. They don't have anything from Imperial Age other than the final defense upgrade. Still looks like Jordan is a little bit scared of them, so he will actually all retreat. But nonetheless, SongSong is buying stones. He wants another castle somewhere, but I just feel like he's running out of options. We're talking about 80 army versus 50, and those trebs are coming in to set up immediately. They might be targeting the blacksmith, because blacksmith upgrades is something that is missing quite heavily for SongSong here. They're going for the TCs right now, and I think we have the final fight of the game. Skirmishers trying to dive in on the monks, but while they are doing so, they get slaughtered by the Eagles, and at the end of the day, you're gonna have about 11 Cataprax against an army of 45 Arbs. Unstoppable. 120 population versus 198. SongSong is out, and Jordan is going to have a clean sweep over here. This is a nice fight here for SongSong, but this doesn't change the fact that he's going to get this castle up, but he's about to lose this one in exchange. The north is getting absolutely overrun with Jordan's forces, and now that is a get out of a game mill. Oh, Jordan. He's milling the farms of his opponent. Oh. So now, the castle is about to fall. You see that SongSong has the resources for Cataprax production. He doesn't have the production buildings. That's why losing those castles were so vital. And with that, Jordan goes on a clean sweep. Every single game, SongSong had some moments. Every single game, SongSong came up with creative and innovative strategies. I would say he flat out had better game plan than Jordan in this set. But Jordan has shown why he's a top player, because despite the fact that he was often behind in game plan or so, his execution was so much better. He was able to utilize the weaknesses of his opponent more frequently. He was able to strike at areas where SongSong was defenseless, and really, Jordan was just able to recover from SongSong's initial pushes and then just finish the game off in the long run. Very clean gameplay from Jordan. He, I think, remains the clear candidate to pass in the first bracket. Only 2 players qualify. Jordan has a very good shot at doing that. He would be up against Kasva or Kaposh in the next one.